Friends Season 2 Review Part 1. The beginning of Ross and Rachel's greatest love story. Hook, what if the person you've secretly loathed for years finally came back into your life, only to introduce you to someone else's? That's exactly where one of the most unforgettable chapters of Friends begins. After spending weeks in China on an archaeological dig, Ross Geller finally returns home. Rachel Green rushes to the airport with butterflies in her stomach, convinced this might be the moment everything changes between them. For the first time, she allows herself to imagine that Ross might finally see her as more than just a friend. But within seconds, those dreams come crashing down. Instead of arriving alone, Ross walks through the airport with Julie, a brilliant paleontologist he reconnects with during his trip to China. Their chemistry is obvious, and before Rachel even has time to process what's happening, Ross proudly introduces Julie as his new girlfriend. It's one of the most heartbreaking moments in the series because Rachel has to fake a smile while her entire world is falling apart. The scene perfectly captures something many people have experienced in real life: pretending to be happy for someone you love while quietly dealing with your own heartbreak. And Jennifer Aniston absolutely nails that emotional balance. Rachel doesn't cry. She doesn't create a dramatic scene. Instead, she forces herself to act normal, making the moment feel even more painful. Meanwhile, the rest of the group immediately realizes what's happening. Monica notices Rachel's disappointment. Chandler senses the awkwardness almost instantly. Dewey and Phoebe try to keep the conversation moving, but everyone can tell the atmosphere has completely changed. Ross, however, has no idea. He's genuinely excited to introduce Julie to his closest friends, completely unaware that Rachel has recently developed feelings for him. From Ross's perspective, he's simply sharing good news. Unfortunately, that innocent excitement only makes Rachel's heartbreak even harder to watch. As the episodes continue, Julie quickly proves she's a genuinely kind and likable person. That's what makes this storyline so clever. The writers never turn Julie into a villain. She isn't rude. She isn't manipulative. She doesn't try to steal Ross away from Rachel. Instead, she's intelligent, friendly, funny, and respectful. She fits naturally into the group, which creates an impossible emotional conflict for Rachel. She wants to dislike Julie, but there's honestly very little to hate. That decision by the writers makes the story feel much more realistic. Sometimes, love triangles aren't about choosing between a good person and a bad person. Sometimes they were about timing. And timing is exactly what works against Ross and Rachel. Rachel only realizes how deeply she cares about Ross after he's already moved on. At the same time, Ross has spent years believing Rachel would never return his feelings. After waiting for so long, he finally allows himself to be happy with someone else. Neither of them is wrong. They are simply out of sync. While the romance becomes increasingly complicated, Friends never forgets that it's a comedy. The emotional scenes are constantly balanced with hilarious moments from the rest of the group. Joey continues delivering his trademark confidence and perfectly timed one-liners. Chandler's sarcastic humor keeps even the most awkward situations entertaining. Phoebe's unpredictable personality adds completely unexpected laughs whenever the tension becomes too heavy. And Monica, caught between supporting her best friend and welcoming her brother's new girlfriend, finds herself in one of the most uncomfortable positions imaginable. The airport reunion also reminds viewers why Friends became such an iconic sitcom. Every character reacts differently to the same situation, allowing both comedy and emotion to exist in the same scene. One moment you are laughing at Chandler's sarcastic comments, and the next you are feeling Rachel's silent heartbreak. That's the magic of this show. It never relies on emotional speeches alone. Instead, it lets facial expressions, awkward pauses, and small moments tell the story. By the end of these opening episodes, one thing becomes crystal clear: Rachel's feelings for Ross aren't just a passing crush anymore, they were real. Unfortunately, Ross seems happier than ever with Julie. For Rachel, every dinner, every group outing, and every conversation becomes another painful reminder that she may have missed her chance forever. But if there's one thing Friends constantly proves, it's that love rarely follows a simple path. And this is only the beginning. In the next part of the story, Rachel struggles to hide her jealousy as Julie becomes a regular part of the group. Monica accidentally finds herself caught between loyalty and friendship, while Ross and Rachel move closer to a conversation that will completely change their relationship forever.